And that was quick, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going back into game number 2 right now. It's going to be on Cloud Kingdom between ThorZaIN and LoWeLy, with ThorZaIN a game down. Can he take it back? Let's get into the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the winner's bracket next round, and I'll tell you what, it's crunch time, because spawning over here in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom here in the European Continental Finals of the World Championship Series, we have, representing FXO, it's going to be LoWeLy. And he is going up against one of possibly the most famous Terrans on Earth, but not able to make it stick in game number 1. He is one game down in this best of 3 series. Can he make it back? It is EG's ThorZaIN. And I'm going to be lowering the game sounds just a little bit. Thank you very much for feedback on the stream just then. Apparently when there was a lot of action, it was drowning me out ever so slightly. So let's give that a shot. But what an incredible first game we had there. ThorZaIN exhibiting his classic Spoon Terran style of being really, really untouchable up to 3 bases, and then moving out his mech army to try and destroy the 4th base of LoWeLy. He was able to do just that. However, as soon as he did that, LoWeLy went for the counterattacks. We had a lot of action going on against the 3rd and 4th bases of ThorZaIN. They got wiped out, and ThorZaIN then had to move back with his mech army, and all of a sudden LoWeLy just had all the space in the world with which to do whatever he wanted, and that is what won him the game in the end. So he is now a game up against the Spoon Terran himself. What will he be able to do here in game number 2? LoWeLy going to be grabbing his hatchery first this time around, and we're going to see a gas after the barracks come out of ThorZaIN. So pretty standard 1-base play, and this implies that he's not going to be going straight into a 1-Rax expand. Drone actually sees all of this, which is pretty darn useful for LoWeLy as well, because he's going to know that ThorZaIN probably doesn't want to go for a super fast command center. He might click on the gas and see that there's only 2 though, and this is actually a style that ThorZaIN prefers a lot of the time, where he gets 2 SCVs on the refinery, but ends up expanding anyway, just very, very slightly later. So I wonder if that's what we're going to be seeing here. He's actually moving the barracks away to put it down in the middle of his base. Could we be seeing the command center put down at his ramp like we did that previous game? Yes, we can. So there goes the command center. So ThorZaIN is going to 1-Rax expand off of a little bit of gas. 2 workers worth on gas. And going to be sticking to effectively the ThorZaIN style builds that we have been seeing from him. He was the one that really pioneered this sort of thing. Now we're going to be seeing a gas and the pool come down from LoWeLy. Everything looking pretty normal so far. And nerves must really be getting to him at this point. I mean, you are at possibly the biggest event of your StarCraft life at the moment. This is huge for LoWeLy, and he's a game up against ThorZaIN, one of the best players on the planet, who just came off of main stage at the DreamHack venue in Stockholm. I mean, this really is where LoWeLy needs to keep his head in the game, needs to stay calm and do what he does best, because if he plays this game like he played last game, he should be in pretty good stead against ThorZaIN's normal style. So we'll see what happens here. We do once again have the factory going down, but note that ThorZaIN's actually mixing it up a little bit here, guys. He got the factory last game as well, and then immediately put down the starport. Oh no, pardon me. He's getting the 2nd barracks just a little bit faster than he is last game, so we might still be seeing the starport go down, and we could potentially still be seeing a tech lab somewhere, but that's a very quick tech lab on that barracks actually. He can normally afford to put down the starport a long time before the tech lab goes down. So this to me tells me he's going for earlier bio upgrades as opposed to faster Banshees. And that's what we could be seeing here in game number 2. He of course could still go for that Banshee play, but it's going to hit at a much slower timing than it did in the last game, immediately making Marines, and yes, there we go, an earlier stim as well. So no starport down for ThorZaIN just yet, as the orbital command now going to be moving down to the natural expansion, and this wall going to be completed by a supply depot. So not too much going on in the Zerg base at the moment. We're going to be putting a spine coil towards the front of the creep spread. Going to try and get this creep down the ramp and also across to the 3rd base as quickly as possible. And we have started a layer on the part of LoWeLy as well. Just playing very, very sensibly at the moment. Possibly getting, he probably wants to get a little bit more gas. I think he saw himself trying to get a Vespene Geyser and then pulling back for a second. He's actually going to get both of the ones at his natural first. So that would be the reason why. And in the meantime, ThorZaIN now is going to be switching up into that starport. So only getting a couple of Hellions. We can see there's only 2 Hellions here, trying to take advantage of the fact that Spikequoll is rerouting, but unable to do so because there are queens behind, of course. And it looks like after the first 2 Hellions, he's just going to go straight into bio at this particular point of the game. We have 2 very quick medevacs coming out, so no Banshees at all from ThorZaIN this time around. And we've got Marauders and Marines popping out non-stop from the Spoon Terran's base. In the meantime, the Hellions at the moment are just glorified placeholders at the Xel'Naga Towers. No doubt they will come in useful at some point in the future. And the creep spread from LoWeLy is just slowly moving towards the low ground, but actually staying on the high ground for now, just to make sure the Hellions aren't at the bottom to try and take that away. He can actually safely put that creep tumor down, unless ThorZaIN has reactions of Superman or something and immediately sends the Hellions over. So LoWeLy just being a little bit careful, and it looks like ThorZaIN's going for a bit of a push with some bio as well. Another Hellion joining in for good measure. In the meantime, we have an infestation pit about 2/3 of the way done for LoWeLy. He's got double evolution chamber, getting those upgrades. So if those upgrades finish, he'll be able to get a decent amount of damage done. And ThorZaIN, yes, look at that, picking off the creep tumor like an absolute boss. But LoWeLy doing a good job of just keeping an eye on exactly where ThorZaIN is. Got that Overlord just checking out. And is ThorZaIN going to be going for a lift into the main? I mean, LoWeLy knows that those medevacs are there. And there's some bio as well, or is ThorZaIN just going to say, well, he's seen it, I'm just going to go ahead and try my best to take out the front door. And it looks like that's what he's going to do. This Overlord almost going down, but not quite. And ThorZaIN now knocking on the door of the natural expansion. 5 banelings are morphing into our decent number of lings here for LoWeLy as well. And ThorZaIN is now transitioned into a bit of drop play up on the high ground. Queen going to be popping in, but oh dear, is she being a little sacrificial here? We need a transfuse. No transfuse goes down on that Queen. And LoWeLy going from the low ground and high ground at the same time, but the lings aren't going to be enough. The Queen's actually going down as well, and this could be a very quick win for ThorZaIN there. LoWeLy completely misjudging this engagement by the looks of things. ThorZaIN now up by 20 supply. Excellent baneling hits there from LoWeLy. That could have just saved him as ThorZaIN moves the medevac down onto the low ground. He is still ahead in supply just a little bit and potentially can do a decent amount of damage against this natural expansion. Back at home, let's take a look at what he is going up to. We're getting a lot more barracks down, add some reactors. He really wants to power up these bio upgrades as well. Double engineering bay, very ThorZaIN-esque, powering away at the back of the main. And looks like ThorZaIN regrouping, potentially going to be going again. In the meantime, LoWeLy, let's find out what he is up to. He's actually down on workers at the moment, 44 to 50. Not a good position you want to be in with Terran because of the existence of mules as well. Getting a macro hatchery too, just trying to make sure he can defend against this constant pressure from ThorZaIN that is doing so much damage to LoWeLy right now. He's unable to take his third. He's unable to move out of his natural peacefully. Trying his best to take the watchtower, but just unable to do so. These lings being held off very, very well by those Marines there. And now ThorZaIN just moving back towards the middle of the map, cementing his position and looking for another opportunity to go forward again. There are a decent number of infestors out on the field for LoWeLy, but they can't do anything at the moment. There just isn't enough meat at the front of this army. ThorZaIN making a third command center now to be floated down to where all this goopage is about to be seen here on the low ground. There's actually a little bit of creep, you can already see that. So LoWeLy doing his best to see what the third base timing is like for ThorZaIN there. We have Zerglings, Banelings, and Infestors coming out here to try and target down ThorZaIN's army in the center of the map. I'm not sure he'll be able to do that just yet, though, but ThorZaIN's actually going to move back anyway. We have a couple of links just wanting to scout out to make sure there aren't any hidden command centers anywhere else on the map, wanting to make sure that ThorZaIN is indeed still on 2 base, and there we go, a round of 12 drones coming in for LoWeLy as the third base gets put down. He needs to make sure he gets up to that magic number of 70 to 75 as quickly as he possibly can. 2-2 now on the way for those Zerglings, but 2-2 also on the way for the bio, so ThorZaIN really ramping up those upgrades. Oh, excellent fungal growth off on those Hellions, catching ThorZaIN by surprise there and allowing LoWeLy just a little bit of breathing space out on the map, because that was most of the Hellions that ThorZaIN had. In fact, that was all of the Hellions that ThorZaIN had, so he's not going to have any additional Hellions to mess around with on the map. This is great news for him. Stimming a small number of units into the natural expansion, picking off one. Oh my goodness, that is very, very nice pick off there, taking apart an Infestor. Ooh, good fungal on the medevacs. Can he get the chain fungal up? No, it doesn't look like he's going to attempt to. The third hatchery is now down, though, and ThorZaIN is looking like he is in the mood to try and take this hatchery apart. We have got concussive shell now being researched from him as well. 2-2 still not done for either player, and LoWeLy desperately trying to stay back, while ThorZaIN just positioning himself very, very well with these bio units. 2-2 about halfway done for him, slightly faster for LoWeLy. You look like he's going for it. The Baneling's going to be heading down the ramp. Nice fungal on the Baneling's hit, but they mostly hit Marauders. and ThorZaIN still has a decent amount of bioforces just spread out on the bottom here. He's just moving these units in 5 or 6 at a time, and LoWeLy is having a massive amount of trouble dealing with it. He doesn't quite have the swarm of units required to deal with it in one decisive swoop just yet. He is getting a hive back home, but really I'm not sure if this tech is going to be fast enough to prevent substantial damage being done to ThorZaIN here, and indeed LoWeLy gives up his third base. It looks like that hatch is going to go down very quickly indeed, and ThorZaIN must be feeling pretty happy with himself right now, finally clumping his bio units back up in the back, but he's just done such a great job. In the meantime, though, a huge Zergling run by coming in from LoWeLy against the third base, and the third base is going to be an orbital command. It's not even an orbital yet. So LoWeLy is going to be able to do a good amount of damage there. Cancels the orbital command from ThorZaIN. All of the SCVs immediately moving back, and that's a decent amount of delay he's put up there, but of course he still has to put the hatchery back up as well, and that's going to make things rather difficult for him indeed, as this one Marine boss modes up both of those Zerglings. Lings now popping down to the bottom half of the map. 3-3 has now started for ThorZaIN, by the way, in his main base, and he's also getting +1 vehicle weapons on potentially siege tanks that are going to be making their way into this unit composition mixture in just a moment's time. Let's see if that ends up happening. In the meantime, LoWeLy still with a healthy number of infestors, but where's the rest of the meat with his army? He is still relying on Zerglings at the moment. He's got 3-3 on the way for those Zerglings. No adrenal glands just yet. I'd love to see those cracklings make an appearance on the Zerg half of the map, but is it going to be enough to deal with all of this bio? A large number of Zerglings just walked straight into the bio army, and that was not good for LoWeLy at all. That's a horrible waypoint there on that army, and he just wasn't able to see when ThorZaIN took those out. He has started adrenal glands, and he's also getting his Spire, which is nice. ThorZaIN giving a quick scan in the main, but unable to see the Spire, which is at the natural expansion. But LoWeLy now, never mind, a second scan as well, just to see what hidden tech LoWeLy might be going for, and ThorZaIN spots that the Spire is going down. So it looks like ThorZaIN is gearing up once again to head into the third base. And a couple of units stimming forward to take out the creep tumor. Take out the creep tumor. Take out the... No, never mind. Oh dear, oh dear. Not quite able to do that, but then again the army is relatively important there. And despite oozing blood all over the place... Oh, there we go. The second scan does actually take it out. A lot of creep tumors up there on the high ground, and ThorZaIN just slowly picking it apart. Look at this. He's only sending 4 to 6 units forward at a time and constantly splitting his bio army behind here as well. He is forcing LoWeLy to... Oh, never mind. He is forcing LoWeLy to engage just a few units at a time until that is, he spotted that fungal, which is about to get absolutely demolished. Very, very nice play there from LoWeLy, but isn't going to be enough. He has a lot of fungal growth going down. He just doesn't have any meat at the front of his army, and his infestors are now starting to go pop. ThorZaIN looking like he's in a good position to move up the ramp here. All this may have done is just delay ThorZaIN for a little bit as LoWeLy drops below 100 supply now. Good transfusions on the queens, but if queens are the only things you have left with those infestors, it's going to be a massive problem for him. One queen goes down. It looks like the second and third are about to go down as well. Another scan just to check where the infestors are, and ThorZaIN just sending a few units at a time up here to completely not only clean up forcing LoWeLy to be so cost inefficient with his units. This is a fantastic style we're seeing here from ThorZaIN. Just a few units at a time, constantly spreading it out, not pushing your entire army forward, and not allowing LoWeLy to commit. He cannot actually get those good fungal growths off. He got a single good fungal in that entire engagement, and ThorZaIN is being the most cost-effective he possibly can, even bringing a siege tank or two into the mix now as well. 11 kills on that tank, just being so slow, so methodical. This is what Spoon Terran is all about. And the third base once again gets denied here. Now we have got a bunch of links moving once more up towards the orbital command, but excellent positioning there. We even have SCVs repairing the bunker. Means that LoWeLy will not be able to do anything about it. Going to be surrounding the command center at the fourth base location. Everything getting cancelled. ThorZaIN is willing to give that up because he thinks he might be able to push in here and win the game. The siege tank going to be moving out now. He knows that if he gets into the natural of LoWeLy as well, he should have the game won at this point. He is currently up 166 supply to 103. And he's very close to tying up this series, but it's not over yet. LoWeLy can still mount a counter-attack here, and if he catches ThorZaIN by surprise, he might be able to do a decent amount of damage, trying to get rid of the reinforcements there with those lings. An excellent decision from him there. We have a bunch of supply depots, but no bunkers or anything like that over here, so LoWeLy doing a good job with these lings, trying to be as cost-efficient as he can, picking off some of those forces and some SCVs, and now he's moving back towards the third base. And once again, we have the bunker there, and he probably doesn't want to have to mess with the bunker, just moving around this third base entirely. entirely, he may want to just focus on the fourth really, but there's actually already a bunch of units there from ThorZaIN to do that. We instead are going to be using an Infestor to try and pick apart the SCVs in this natural expansion. ThorZaIN now going to be poking up at the natural of LoWeLy himself, but he has a lot of defense in the way of fungals and also in the way... Oh, come on, there we go. Medevac going down now as well. Do we have any beach balls popping out just yet? We don't, but we have a missile turret out there already for ThorZaIN, so he is prepared for the Infestor, or at least we think he is. Let's find out in just a moment. He's now up to 188 supply versus the 115. Worker supply is 65 to 54, and ThorZaIN just doing such a good job of containing LoWeLy on 2 bases. This is really, really joyful to watch. Here come the beach balls, the Infestor Terrans at the natural expansion. A scan does take the Infestor out as well, or does it? Is he actually over? He is actually over here, so LoWeLy able to get away. Really, really nicely done there. Is he going to pick apart the missile turret? He might as well, because then he can come in for round number 2. Otherwise, ThorZaIN might just start repairing, but it looks like it's going down to 10 health anyway. And 3, 2, 1, there goes the missile turret. ThorZaIN has other things on his mind at the moment, though. He is slowly starting to push up more and more towards the center of the map, getting a decent number of Vikings out as well, interestingly enough. He's sort of anticipating that now is around the time he should be getting that Great Aspire, and indeed that is actually out at the moment. 4 Broodlords on the map here for LoWeLy, just trying to defend his third base and getting it up. How often do we see a 4-base Terran and a 2-base Zerg try to defend against it? That is really, really difficult for a position for LoWeLy to be in at present. Dear oh dear. ThorZaIN in the meantime moving out with 3-3 bio units. What are the upgrades looking like for LoWeLy right now? He has no upgrades on the Broodlords, but he has got 3-3 and Adrenal Glands on the Zerglings, and that's going to help him out quite a lot, but will it be enough? ThorZaIN just constantly scanning and moving forward now, wanting to deny the third base once again, and if he denies it yet again, then LoWeLy's going to be in a position where if he doesn't win with the army he already has, he might actually just be lost, because ThorZaIN has been doing such a good job of preventing LoWeLy from mining anything this entire game long. LoWeLy now going to be moving out with a bunch of links, possibly trying to sneak into the natural. He's also got a bunch down here towards the 4th base location, but this is already a planetary. So I don't know how much damage this can do. And here we go. It looks like the battle has started in the natural. A lot of those Banelings actually just getting chucked away there because they basically hit Marauders. Not what you want to do. LoWeLy now showing that he has Broodlords. Good fungal growth going off on some of those Vikings, but ThorZaIN saving most of his army, keeping it back at the moment. And that's a lot of Infestors trying to pop down. It's basically Broodlord Infestor at the moment, and that Viking's going to go down as well. We need to see some transfuses on these Broodlords though, because the Vikings from ThorZaIN, after being split up so effectively, are just doing quite a good job. Nice fungal growth there on those Vikings, taking another 2 of them down. LoWeLy basically hanging on for dear life there. Siege Tank getting a shot off on those Infestors. Need to be so careful as we have another couple of Broodlings move out towards the center of the map. How many Vikings does ThorZaIN have at the moment? He actually has 6, so there we go. He's going to be coming in with those. Nice fungal growth on those Vikings as well, but we need to see a couple more if he wants the threat to be completely abolished, because there are only 3 Broodlords left, and LoWeLy has to protect them with his life. So what is going to happen over here? Looks like these Zerglings down at the bottom have been cleaned up at the 3rd and 4th base location. There's still a group here, but LoWeLy not deciding to do anything with it yet. He's just slowly being whittled down by ThorZaIN. He's down 105 supply to 158 at the moment. ThorZaIN just trying to prod these Broodlords back. Look at how little health these guys have. We really need to be seeing the transfusers in this particular engagement, but we now have a Siege Tank inching forward from ThorZaIN, moving slowly but surely towards the 3rd base. Is he going to be able to take it out once more and possibly win the game here? Oh my goodness, there go all of the Broodlords very, very quickly, because LoWeLy had very little health left on those Broodlords, and now we see small clumps of fire units moving up. It doesn't look like a good day when you're forcing to use fungals and infested Terrans against Marauders, just a group of 3 of them as well. So the energy of these infestors is being slowly whittled away from ThorZaIN at the moment, and this really is Spoon Terran style. Looks like it might actually work. The Zerglings actually doing a bit of work here at the natural expansion, but all they're really doing at the moment is killing supply depots. So not the best control there from LoWeLy, as a couple of landed Vikings and Marines will be able to take the remainder of those Zerglings out, and now he has a massive problem against his 3rd base location. We could be seeing a couple more Siege Tanks being inched forward here. How many does ThorZaIN only has 2 Siege Tanks? It would be nice to see him with a couple more in this composition, but he's actually going to be going towards Ghosts. So he is looking to EMP, he's looking to snipe the Infestors, and all sorts of lovely jubbly things that he's going to try and pick apart on the 3rd base location here on Cloud Kingdom. We have another group of links moving in towards the 3rd base, but the bunker is still present. There are still 4 Marines in it. That has not changed since last time. A couple of workers will go down, but not very many at all. Total number 18 in this entire game. Now ThorZaIN is inching towards the third base as the ghosts pop out. Excellent snipes off on a couple of those infestors there, and all of a sudden LoWeLy is left without many options at all. ThorZaIN has a tank down here. He has the ghost here ready to snipe if necessary. Oh, there we go. A couple more, not quite killing off that infestor, but doing a tremendous amount of damage. There's basically no army left for LoWeLy aside from these infestors. And a scan going off, EMP going off as well. These infestors are now completely and utterly useless as ThorZaIN moves in for the kill. All the bio moving up to the top of the ramp. He knows that fungal growth is not a concern of his right now. GG! And ThorZaIN, the Spoon Tower, in 28 minutes, takes game number 2 and ties up the series with LoWeLy 1-all. Guys, I am JoRoSaR. We'll be right back with game number 3 here after a very short break. Don't go anywhere.